Yeah, it's a technique. But what do you dance with the technique? How many of us know that if at all, having learned the technique of dance, your occupation decides what is the content you are going to deliver, where you are going to get your employment. If you are going to go and get your employment in temple, you would learn a whole lot of matter to be delivered. And a dancer who is dancing in the court, her way of working is very different. Because her material, what will, I can ask me a question, like, okay, I got a job in a temple. I know dance. So what will I learn? I'm a temple dancer for 60 years. Will I do the same thing again and again? Okay, number one. Number two question, my education would revolve around learning a whole lot of hastas for Shiva. I would learn a whole lot of hastas to do with Panchabhutas, something which is very to do with Tanmatras, some Karmendriyas, Jnanendriyas. All these matters are discussed to her in terms of hastas, which that a court dancer has nothing to do. What her education is about? Stringing different kinds of flowers. I'm saying about temple dancer. She knows to string different kinds of flowers. Given one flower, there's no one way of tying it. There are 100 different ways of tying it. Everything has a given name to it, given purpose to it, how to handle it. Her job is something else. She knows how to, Kalabam is chandan mixed with rose petals and perfumed things. In Malayalam, it's called Kalaba. Kalaba is a common term, mixture. Kalaba, they are experts in Kalaba, making Kalaba. They are experts in making Marindra. Marindra is medicine. They are very good in making medicines, especially the Dasis. They are very good at making medicines. For people who carry the god, palanquin bearers, they carry the god, they come, at the end of the procession, you have to keep them something under the tongue so that they don't get tired, they don't fall. They get dizzy at times when you carry and carry them because they can't sit. No? For how many hours? 8 hours you can't sit, 9 hours you can't sit. Yeah, body has to undergo something so that it is not just muscle power that's going to hold you. You need to get into some type of intoxication. Yeah, they intoxicate them with something else. That intoxication makes you stand it. It's not like current years. STS was far more difficult because there was no lamp, there was no street lights, they were a little disorganized, but they did it. That particular Marindra, they were experts. So don't think dancers only danced. These are their jobs. They need to know the exact mix of what to be given during service, temple services. They had many varieties of their job, their repertoire of work is something very big which we can't imagine. Henceforth, it is so foolish to say that this dance came from temple. I'm telling you because it comes from very different ethos. To be a temple dancer is a very different idea. It is not, it's impossible. Because we don't belong to that and we don't know anything about it. We don't know close to nothing. Because whatever we recovered is only hardly 150 years, 200 years material. Not more than 300 years, we don't know what happened. There are references, passing references. Because we are fighting on particular instances. Whatever we have as products, with that we are fighting to reconstruct. It's difficult and it's a very, very sketchy material to work with. Riffraff leftovers of the technology. You have a broken handset of Nokia and somewhere left over here in the archaeological finds, and from there to recover then what the original Nokia handset was, I think that's what is happening. You have some evidences left over. To reconstruct is not necessary first of all.
So when you talk about Naturanas and how they're an embodiment with so much knowledge, and then people learn from under them, and then they go and get jobs in these other places, and then their work changes, their direction of life changes, then with passing time, this knowledge only, it gets diffused and it doesn't
Very good
transfer.
question, very good question.
Yeah.
Because dance had a very specific people called dance teachers. A dance teacher would train a dance teacher. They would train dance teachers. Generations of dance teachers were, there's a training for the teacher.
Not dancers, but dance teachers.
Yeah. There is also training for the dancer. She will not in turn train a dancer. Very rarely, they would teach Abhinaya part. No. There are some techniques which they teach too, but basics, they would revert, come back, mostly to a male trainer. And teachers were trained teachers, within even the female community. There are arguments that females also trained. good. But they were very clear-cut things, what to teach for a teacher, what to teach for a performance. No, they are not students.
Yeah. They're there to become performers.
They are the end products who are to be sold. If that sells, I'll get money back. It's a proper business model.
Then how did it get ruined like this?
We only ruined it.
So I know my guru's guru, Varu Raya Pillai, his son Samraj.
No, Vaduvara, when he moved from Vaduvara to Chennai, it's all gone. It's over.
That's how it is.
It's over.
Yeah.
Vaduvara used to do a Nattu. How many of us know there was a Nattu Archana to, Gasamara Murti, Nyasavesha. Morning you have to do one full Archana with Nattu Talam. And the Nattu Talam has nothing to do with dance. Yes. You can't dance with Nattu Talam. Because Nattu Talam, you think it's only for what to call dancing? No. Nattu Talam is a proper Upapakkavargana. You can do it for Kacheri, music Kacheri. You can do it for Bhajan. You can do it for Natya. Natya mane not Bharatanatyam is theatre. You can do it for Terukuthu. Terukuthu, Katekuthu, Telugu. Yakshaganam have Nattu Talam. Equivalent is Yaratalam in Kathakali. You can also do it for Bharatanatyam, Sattva Kacheri. Now we think it's only meant for dancing. No. And Nattu Talam has a separate training where they construct Meru. There's something called the idea of Meru. There's the idea of Kodari. Kodari meaning axe. What is this idea? If I explain that idea, we should be falling flat on the ground. Because according to their idea, time is not linear. For them, they have different ideas of time. One entire idea for the time is like a mountain. It's like a conical idea of time. For someone, time is cyclic, not circular. That cyclic idea of time is what they call it as avarta. What we say is avarta. That idea is one idea. Avarta is one idea. Kodari is another idea. Meru is another idea. Time is not linear for them. None of this here time is linear. Because within that they would make a frame. They will cut talam into some pieces. And this one talam. For them, every talam is that's another topic. What is talam in their understanding? Talam is not what we see as. Don't ever say talam is Tishram, Chaturishram, Nishram. No. There are only particular knowledges which they gave it to us like that. Come and take it. Original idea is something different. Far different. No Natvana, no tradition, older books says talam is linear. No text says it. And no text says talam can be this. Every different understanding of time is there. There's a construction of Aditara Meru, construction of Aditara Kodari. There are very different things which you are not familiar with. So let us not assume that we know Natvangam as such. It is a very shallow word. It's another thing. For us, Talam boils down to Mridangam and Tavil and no. It's a very different idea. Time is something different. To be space and time that we are going to do. Don't worry. You have enough and more to deal with space and time throughout your life. That's okay. Having said that, answering your question once more, the professional model is there is someone called, there's an entire industry called dance, the Natya industry. The peak or the creamiest part is to show from the industry. There are a lot of people who are working with the industry in the closed. There's something called the research group who work only on the research part of it. They don't teach anyone. These people were their part of the research industry or the industry of Natya. There were another set of people who were documenting it. They were called Shastrakaras. There were other people who were putting it to practice, like ballet masters. They were the Natyanas, if you want to call it. And there's another part, the creamiest part of this entire industry called product industry, called the dancer. Who the creamiest part of the entire knowledge system should only memorize and do it, and do some given spaces here and there. She would do her manodharma. Who will think that a Shiva Linga should be brought within Ardhachandra and Shikhara? That's not the dancer's job. It's not the people. They would think, okay, there is a debate.
Who patronized all these people? It had to be how did they survive?
Survive is Brahmadeyas. There were systems of Brahmadeyas where the entire village was given to them. Kings, Brahmadeyas are autonomous bodies. No wars, even if the Brahmadeya villages are there, even war come, they will not touch Brahmadeyas. They will not invade Brahmadeyas. Brahmadeyas are never touched. Even Pandyas invaded Cholas, Cholas invaded Kakatiyas, Kakatiyas invaded Chalukyas. They will never touch Brahmadeyas. The first Brahmadeya was invaded, sorry to say, was by Ulu Khan. First by Malik Kafur. Malik Kafur attacked 1010 AD. The first attack of Brahmadeya, you see documentation. But no Brahmadeya was attacked before. Brahmadeya were centers of work for knowledge and dissemination. The first Brahmadeya attack, you have at least a documented inscription. We don't know whether it happened before. Documented is 1010 AD. In Chola.
From then it has been happening.
Regularly. Regularly it happened. But we don't know. Initially it would have happened something, but documented is 1010, I'm saying. I repeat myself, I'm clear about it. In that sense, knowledge system survived, independent of any, because people in Sanghas, especially go to Nalanda or to Takshila, people from different walks of the life, different religion, different country came for knowledge. What is there? Because they will not touch them, because they only for enterprise of knowledge. They walked and walked in from different worlds, they're begging for knowledge. They will not touch them. They don't belong to this world, they belong to another world. So they don't touch them, and it's so unethical to touch them. Because you don't even know whether they belong to this country. They're not from this country, they may be from somewhere, from foreign lands. Only the quest of knowledge brought them here. So there's no point, and they don't belong. In the sense, they may be mendicants, they may be nude mendicants. Nudist you can find. But we think, we camouflage them and say, oh, they were thinking always about Brahman and meditation. No? They were discussing about infinities, levels of infinities, and finding what to do with these, how to equate. You add 1 to 1, it becomes 2. But beyond a point, you add, it doesn't, one number does not increase. Even on infinity, before infinity does not increase. Then they don't actually practically were crying what to do with these numbers. How do you operate with these numbers? Do they exist or not? How do you bring that into Tada? Can you capture that? Can you understand about that realm of numbers? And who are discussing about these things? Who we think they are nude? Jain monks. They are experts in discussing operations with them. But anyway, we learn about these ideas later. And they were crying to the rooftop. Everyone was bothered about milk and food every day. They were bothered about infinities. Oh, how do I operate with infinities? Infinities, add infinity, another infinity comes. What do I, can I add even? Can I subtract? What do I do with these? Can I put them into raga? Can I put them into tada? Yes. Perhaps that's where raga tada was born. Belong to that realm. Not in the adable realm. You can't add anything to it, no? You find the equivalence there. If you add something, third entity comes. But there are also entities, you add something to it, nothing will come. You can't add at all. Addition is not possible. Fusion is not possible.